of the main struggles young Muslims face is the normalization of intergender relationships in societies. This has resulted in increasing pressure on young Muslims to conform to cultural and societal expectations, especially in a time where globalization and popular culture have a strong hold on public and personal opinion. At work, in school, and even online, it is practically a norm to have deep personal relationships with the opposite gender, to the extent that all religious boundaries are blurred and trampled upon. Shaking hands, hugging and giving high fives, hanging out in seclusion or even as a group to catch up, the lack of modesty in conversations and discussions, all of these have become so common that most Muslims feel left out if they abstain from doing the same. Another struggle is the rise of social media and online dating apps, which has made it easier than ever for young Muslims to find and interact with the opposite gender without fear of scrutiny and repercussions. It has become so common to hear phrases like, "I slid into his or her DM," in conversations with Muslims, forgetting that it is a form of khalwa, that is seclusion, which is prohibited. You see youngsters leaving comments and fire emojis on non-mahram women or men's pictures and posts, having the opposite gender on their private snaps where they share even their most intimate moments. Men's "get ready with me" with videos of them bare-chested, women sharing "I woke up like this" photos with their hair uncovered or in their pajamas, getting feedback and comments from their female and male friends, often people they have never met in real life, and things that many would feel uncomfortable doing if they were in the same room. Islam places a strong emphasis on modesty and discourages any form of informal relationship with the people that are not our mahrams. Thus, even gisting freely, laughing loudly and teasing one another that happens so often nowadays is not permissible. This is because friendships between men and women can be a slippery slope towards temptation and should therefore be avoided altogether. Islam also stipulates that men and women should not spend time alone together, and that physical contact between non-mahram men and women should be avoided at all costs. In a hadith reported by Jabir bin Abdullah, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Whoever has faith in Allah and the last day, let him not be secluded with an unrelated woman without her guardian, lest shaitan be the third of them." It is important for us Muslims to recognize and remind ourselves of our roles as believers on earth. We are not here to conform or gain validation by following the masses. Each prophet that Allah sent was mocked and ridiculed, and many times even ostracized from society for daring to be different, not following the masses, breaking status quo, and choosing to follow Allah's will and command. The Prophet ﷺ has told us in a hadith, "Bada al-Islamu ghariban wa sayaudu kama bada'a ghariban fatuba lil ghuraba," meaning Islam began as something strange and will go back to being strange, so glad tidings to the strangers. This requires a lot of courage and a deep reflection on why Allah created us and placed us on this earth. It is also worth considering whose standards are worthy of aspiring to. Human beings like ourselves who are inherently flawed and constantly succumbing to the base desires of their souls, or Allah, mighty and majestic, who is perfect in all ramifications, who knows what we do not know, created us and knows our most intimate needs. As Muslims, we must be cautious in approaching relationships with the opposite gender and take care to adhere to the teachings and boundaries Allah has set for us, because that is the only path to happiness and salvation. And some of the ways we can achieve this is by, number 1, seeking knowledge. Seeking knowledge is greatly emphasized in our religion. As Muslims, we should make the effort to learn and understand our religion through sincere pursuit of knowledge. Allah tells us, فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لِذَنْبِكَ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مُتَقَلَّبَكُمْ وَمَثْوَاكُمْ. Know that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, and seek forgiveness for your shortcomings and for the believing men and women, for Allah fully knows your movements and places of rest. In this ayah, Allah calls us to know, not just believe, but know that only He is worthy of worship, because beneficial knowledge is what will enable us to feel more grounded in our decisions and choices, as well as our identity as Muslims. So let's know who our non-mahrams are. Our cousins are not among them. Our brother-in-laws are not among them. And definitely, our brothers' friends, no matter how they have become like family, are certainly not among them. Number 2, after knowledge, then action. If we happen to have fallen into the fitna of haram intergender relationships, then let's try our best to end it. This could be by simply telling others what we have learned so they too can learn and even hold us accountable, or by politely informing our non-mahram friends about why we can be friends again. Number 3. Remember, Allah is Al-Khabir, the observer, and is well acquainted with what we do both in real life and on the internet. As Muslims, we must be cautious in approaching relationships with the opposite gender and take care to adhere to the teachings and boundaries Allah has set for us, because that is the only path to happiness and salvation. Number 4. We should avoid being in a relaxed environment where there is free mixing. Example, the living rooms where male cousins stay when they come, the common room meant for resting at work, etc. And lastly, number 5, behave professionally. We should strive to maintain cordial and respectful relationships with our colleagues, classmates, and other members of the opposite gender without becoming overly familiar in a way that leads us to letting down our guard, losing our haya, and going down a path that displeases Allah. And we ask Allah to enable us to let go of any relationship He is not pleased with. Amen.
If you have benefited from this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Deensisters, to help us make more videos. You can also get yourself or a loved one a valuable item from our charity shop from bit.ly/dscharity_shop. Jazakumullahu khairan.